So, lockdown mode continues, but I want to play a game, and there's only one thing for it. Beam him up! Necrons vs Eldar. It's coming right up. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. And if you're new to the channel and you want to learn about Necrons and more, then please subscribe and hit the bell button to turn on all notifications so you don't miss an upload. Right, I am back with my Tacticalnecron list. This is a list of 1,111 points. It beat the Gauss army that I played against in the first video, and today I'm going to take it up against Nicholas's Eldar force. Now, I haven't actually played much Eldar in 8th edition, to be fair, so my list isn't necessarily going to be the most competitive, but I played a lot of the units which I've previously painted and not played much. Hopefully it should be a fun game. Now, before you watch the game, why not comment on which army do you think will win? Will the Necrons win, or will the Mirror Universe Eldar win? Let us know in the comments box below. Right, let's have a look at our lists. Okay, so here are the two armies, both battalion detachments. In the Necron force we've got an Overlord, and he's got a Warsaw. Next to him a Cryptek, and he's got the Veil of Darkness. And then we have 3 units of Tesla Immortals, 1 unit of 5, 1 unit of 6 and 1 unit of 10. Then at the back we have 9 Tomb Blades. These Tomb Blades have the shield veins on all of the models, and they've all got nebula scopes. And then we have 2 Annihilation Barges with Tesla on the top and bottom, and finally there we've got to fly out the Night Scythe. Right, for the Eldar force we've gone for the Ulthway Craftworlds, and heading up the force is the Avatar of Cain, and next to him is a Warlock. He's got Conceal stroke Jinx. And then we've got 10 Dire Avengers with an Exarch with a sword and shield. And then on the left here we've got 10 Guardians with a scatter laser. And behind we've got 5 Rangers. Those Rangers weren't painted by me. I need to strip them and repaint them. And then we've got 10 Warp Spiders with the Power Glaives on the Exarch. And then for heavy support we've got a Fire Prism with Crystal Targeting Matrix. And then over here in the fast attack choice we've got 5 jet bikes, Wind Riders as I think they're now called. Now all of these have got the Shuriken cannon, although it's only on 3 of the models, but the whole unit has it. And then right at the back there we've got 3 War Walkers, and they've all got scatter lasers. And that comes in at 1,109 points. So both armies have 8 command points each. This guy here's got Vulcan's Swiftness Warlord trait, which gives him an extra 2-inch movement. And the Overlord has Immortal Pride. Okay, so the battlefield is set up. Let's find out what mission we're playing. So I'm going to play another Eternal War mission. If number 5 comes up, the 4 pillars, I'll re-roll it because I played that in the previous game. So here we go. What mission? Mission 3, which is Ascension. Okay, let's find out who's going to be the attacker, who's going to be the defender. So the Necron dice, of course, is the Necrons. The white dice is Eldar. Highest chooses. So Necrons are going to go first. Okay, so next we need to find out the deployment map. The Eldar as the defenders can roll the dice, so we're playing deployment map 1, which is Spearhead Assault. Now, to be fair, there's not too much difference here with the terrain. Once again, we've got the 2 buildings in the middle and a building in each corner. However, this building has the highest platform, and I think it would be ideal to put a fire prism on. So I'm going to choose this corner here as the defender for the Eldar. Sorry, for Craftworlds. If I say Eldar at any point, obviously I mean Craftworlds. Okay, so an interesting mission. We've got 3 objectives, one right in the middle, and to hold this objective it's not just troops like in the previous mission. Anything can actually hold it. However, characters override anything else. So if you have a bunch of models on there and then your opponent has one HQ character on there, then the character will claim the objective. Not only that, but the longer the character claims the objective, the more points that you accumulate in each turn. It's quite interesting. You've got the 3 standard secondary objectives as well, so First Strike, Line Breaker and Slay the Warlord. So the defenders were able then to place their objective once the middle one was down, and I placed it just here at the bottom of the building. My idea will be to put the Warlock here, so that he's within 3 inches of this, so I can accumulate points as the game goes on, but also it gives him a nice 18-inch bubble to bubble anything in this area. I've already measured up. I'm planning on putting the Rangers there because their guns are only 36 inches up here or here. Well, here they can't really see because that's in the way, plus they'll be out of range. So Rangers there, HQ there, then we'll put the Guardians and all the other stuff in this area. Now as for the Necrons, I've decided to put their objective just there, which is out of line of sight of whatever's going to be on that top platform, which is probably the best platform on the battlefield. However, I'm going to be able to place a small squad of Immortals here, some more Immortals that side. I'll have 2 units covering the objective, and of course one of the HQs. Right, let's get deploying. Okay, so the Necrons have deployed. Now of course I'm the attacker, I should be going first, but I've also deployed in case I don't. So what I need to do is I need to get a HQ, if I can, on the middle objective. And as I've got first turn and you score at the end of your turn, I think that was the plan, to try and get into the middle, and I'm going to do it in waves. So what I've done is I've deployed my Cryptek and my big squad of Immortals up in that building. I've tried to make it look like I'm committed to that building. So rather than just deploying them behind so it looks like I'm going to use the Veil of Darkness, I've actually embedded the unit in the building. It's not a bad choice. I'm going to be covering this objective here and I'm going to be covering this one with my gun range. However, my plan is to Veil of Darkness that unit onto the middle objective if I get first turn. And then I've got waves coming in. I've got the 2 Annihilation barges, which I deployed backwards because, well, it's the only way I could get them in the deployment zone. So they can come in if I need, and then I've got the Tomb Blades which can come in onto the middle objective as well. I'm going to let my opponent have that objective. If he has that one and I have this one, it's going to be even, so it's going to be all about this middle objective. So that's what I planned. Now I've put the Night Scythe just there. It's behind the building. I'm trying to hide it as much as possible. It's got good movement and obviously it can't score objectives. Now as usual, I did come down to have a look at my opponent's deployment zone, and as you can see most of it's hidden. Now I am aware, of course, that he could deploy over this side of the table and he could probably see a bit more, but with the objective over on this side, I'm betting the vast majority of stuff is going to be over on this side of the table. Right, that's the Necron deployment, so now we're going to deploy the Craftworld. Okay, so the Craftworld army has deployed. Now I know my plan was originally to put the fire prism up on the building there. Well, one advantage of going second, being the defender, is you can see your opponent's deployment. And up on the building I can't really see much. However, if I put my fire prism here, I've got range of the central objective and that objective at the back. I'm thinking I can just pound those units which are obviously just going to be sitting on the objective all game. So I had to concentrate on the middle objective. I've got my avatar, the warp spiders and the jet bikes, the fast moving stuff, just hiding behind the building. I could have put the warp spiders in reserve, but I think I need as many units on the table as I can. The Guardians are just up on that building there, and then we've got the Warlock just in the building grabbing the objective on the middle tier, and of course the Dire Avengers as well. The Dire Avengers, very short ranged guns. They do have the option to move forward and maybe help target something which is on that objective, but at the moment they've just got to defend that objective, help the Warlock keep the objective. And then of course I put the Rangers up on the building there. They are there to hopefully target the characters. Actually the Rangers could be quite a powerful unit in this game. If I can target the characters and kill them, it might give me an advantage. So I'm thinking it would be fantastic if I can go first and eliminate a character on turn 1. So I am going to try to seize the initiative. So we could really do with a 6. Let's see if we can get it. A 6! We have stolen the initiative. Okay, that's interesting. Right, it's going to be Craftworlds turn 1. Okay, Craftworld movement phase. I moved the avatar of Cain. I did advance him. I had to use a command point because my original advance was just 1 inch. I re-rolled it, I got a 4. With my 2-inch extra movement from his warlord trait, he is now within 3 inches of the objective. And of course I've moved the bikers just in front of him as well. I'd considered moving the warp spiders, but I've decided to leave them there. They'll be my second wave onto the objective. Over this side of the table, these are all in range here of obviously the units already. The War Walkers have a heavy weapon, so they're going to target the Annihilation barges. And then I was thinking about which character, because I can see both, am I going to shoot at. I am going to shoot at the Cryptek over there because I think it gives slightly more benefits. Whilst that's got My Will Be Done over there, the guns aren't really in range of much, whereas the Cryptek of course gives the RP bonus and he gives the 5+ invulnerable save. So I'm going to target the Cryptek with this unit here, and then the jet bikes are in range of the Immortals over there as well, so that's their target. In the psychic phase I gave Conceal to the Dire Avengers. Right, now it's time to shoot. Okay, so I've used a stratagem to give me +1 to hit rolls. So we now hit on 2s. Come on then. All hit. Okay, so 2 wound, and we really could do with a couple of 6s here. That would be really nice. We are strength 4, it's toughness 4 on the Cryptek, so we need 4s. Come on, 6s. Oh my god, this was out of the pot. Let's re-roll that. Another 1. Ouch! And of course he saved that wound. Okay, well these things happen, so let's continue to shoot. Okay, so next were the War Walkers shooting into an Annihilation barge. I rolled to hit, got that many 1s and 2s. Then I rolled to wound, I got that many 1s, 2s and 3s, needed to wound on 4s. In the end, only 6 wounds. So now we're going to do the save. So we've got a 4+ save and 2 wounds only from the War Walkers. Okay, so with that down to 6 wounds, I'm trying to get first strike. So I decided to shoot the Fire Prism into the Annihilation Barge. I used the medium tier, the one that does D3 damage. I rolled to hit. I had to use a command point on one of the dice, and I managed to do 4 damage, so it's down to 2 wounds now. So next I'm going to shoot the scatter laser here to try and take it out if I can. So here we go, we need 3s, and then strength 6, toughness 6, 4s, only 1 wound goes through. Can we make a save on a 4+? We do. Okay, so the bad rolling, to be fair, continued. I shot the jet bikes next. They had to split fire. 3 could see the Annihilation barge, and I just about managed to take it out. It didn't explode, so I did get first strike. And then the other couple of bikes shot into the Immortals. I did get a couple of 6s to wound, which helped with the extra AP, and I killed 2 Immortals in total. So that is the end of the Craftworld turn 1. Now I did score 2 points, one for each objective, and I have a HQ standing on each one, so potentially I can score 2 points if I'm still on the objective in the next turn. And of course I got first strike, so I've got 3 points in total. Okay, so Necron turn 1. I did my RP, I got 1 immortal back out of the 2 that died, and then I've moved. I'm concentrating on the middle blob as much as I can. Obviously they're taking the objective. So I've got the immortals over there in range. I moved the Night Scythe up the minimum distance. They're in targets of all of this here, on here, and also the Dire Avengers, just in case my turn goes really well. I moved the Annihilation Barge there forward. The Tomb Blades have come over this side here. I'm in range of the middle blob, but I'm also hidden from the War Walkers and the Fire Prism. And then I gave my will be done to this unit of 6 immortals, and I've moved them up within range of the bikes. I'm going to shoot the small unit first. I'm going to basically try to take out the bikes first, and then leave as many guns as I can to target the Avatar. Okay, that was pretty easy. Those 6 immortals there with mine will be done. I managed to take out all of the bikes. Actually, I would have killed 8 in total, but there was only 5. So that's first strike, and now I can concentrate on the Avatar. Okay, so the Tomb Blades shot into the Avatar, and I did 4 wounds. Then I used talents for the Annihilation on these guys and shot them in, and then I did 3 wounds. So he's down to 1 wound. So it's now up to either the Annihilation Barge or the Doom Scythe to try and take him out. Okay, shot the Night Scythe in, and the Avatar saved everything that came through. However, the Annihilation Barge, who shot all of his guns into him just to make sure he kills him, did manage to kill him. So I got Slay the Warlord, and I've obviously taken him off of the objective. I get 1 point for being on this objective, so I get 2 points, and the Eldar are on 3 points as we move in to Craftworlds turn 2. Okay, so Craftworld turn 2. Assessing the table here, and I'm looking a little bit outgunned and maybe outmanned too. However, I think I've still got a bit of an advantage in that I am going first. Now, what I'm thinking is this. Ideally, I need to protect my Warlord, keep him on the objective. I'll score 2 points at the end of this turn for that. I've also moved the Warp Spiders onto the central objective. I've made sure that no one can get within 3 inches of the objective, so that, for example, this Annihilation Barge moved down within 3 inches, and then they blast the Warp Spiders so they can take the objective after. So I've made sure that can't happen. Obviously the Warp Spiders there are probably going to be shot out next turn. However, it will give me that extra point. And then I'm thinking, I really need to target the Overlord here, or at least this blob taking this objective. But the Overlord ideally, because of course he's scoring 2 points. Now I've got my Rangers, and also I've moved up the War Walkers just there to help target the blob at the back on that objective. So that's the plan basically. I'm just going to try to nudge forward in points before I lose my army. So, on to the shooting phase. Okay, I did try to cast my Psychic Power, but I failed. And then I shot. So I shot the Warp Spiders into the Annihilation Barge. Got it down to 3 wounds. I then shot 1 War Walker using the stratagem that gives me +1, as of course I'd moved with the heavy weapons. And then I took out the Annihilation Barge. The other 2 War Walkers shot into those immortals closest to me and killed none of them. So then I shot the Fire Prism into them, and I killed 1 of them only. The Rangers shot into the Overlord and did 1 mortal wound. Everything else was saved. The Guardian platform did shoot at the Annihilation Barge but did no damage. So that's the end of Craftworlds turn 2. I've got 1 point for being on that objective there and 2 points for being on there with a character. So that's 3 points. That puts me up to 6 as we move in to turn 2 for the Necrons. Okay, Necron turn 2. So I did my RPs. I got 1 back from this unit, but that unit over there didn't get his guy back. Now I'm assessing the board. So these guys here, I definitely need to kill these, and obviously I'm aware now that what's going to happen is if I do kill them, you've got the War Walkers, which are just going to go over there and claim the objective again next turn. Going second is definitely a bit of a disadvantage for me at the moment. Ideally, I would like to concentrate on that blob over there and stop them scoring the points. However, there's a lot of bodies there, and I do need to concentrate on this blob here. I think I'm going to hide my Overlord. I'm going to move him over so that this building stops the Rangers targeting him, because, well, over another couple of turns, or at least with maybe a good roll, they could take him out. So I'm going to try to take out the Warp Spiders. If I could take these out, that would be a perfect result. Let's get some movement done and see what we can do. Okay, so I gave this unit here my will be done and moved the Overlord and the Immortals as safely as I could behind the building. I didn't move these because I couldn't move them forward enough to get within half range, so I've just left them at the back there. Then moved the Tomb Blades here. They're in half range of both of these units to give me a few choices. The Night Scythe has moved there, again half range of this unit if needed. Then I moved the Immortals forward. They're also within half range. I'm just trying to get as much use out of the -1 AP as I can. So let's get shooting. Okay, I'm going to shoot this unit here first because only a few of them are within half range. If I shoot this one here, well, there's a chance that they may just take the dead off and then stop this big unit not being in half range. Of course, that means that these may not be able to shoot either, so you know, it swings and roundabouts, but there's more models here, so I'm going to shoot this one first. Okay, so these guys shot in and they killed 7. I then shot the Night Scythe in, and the Ulthway aftersave proving very, very useful. They saved like a boss. I only killed 1 more spider, so there's 2 left. I need to kill at least 1 of them so that they fail morale. So I'm thinking I'm going to shoot maybe 2 Tomb Blades into them, and then I'll shoot the rest of the Tomb Blades at the War Walkers. Okay, so I shot 2 Tomb Blades in. This guy here, the Exarch, saved incredibly well, and he's still alive with 2 wounds. However, I did kill 1, and as their leadership 8, even if they roll a 1 in the morale phase, he is going to die. Right, so that's that job done. Now I'm going to shoot the rest of the Tomb Blades into the War Walkers. Okay, so I shot the Tomb Blades in, that toughness 6 being hard to get through. I did cause 3 wounds on 1 of the Walkers though. That's the end of Necron turn 2. So I scored 2 points for having the HQ on that objective at the back. That gives me 4 in total, and then the Craftworlds are on 6 points as we move in to Craftworlds turn 3. Okay, Craftworld turn 3. Weighing up the board, I'm 2 points in the lead at the moment. This objective is in the open, and the only real unit that I've got now to get it is the War Walkers, who will have to advance if I want to surround the objective. I can get in range if I just move. If I advance, I can surround it. I've got these pesky Tomb Blades which are going to cause me a lot of problems. They're so fast, they've got a lot of shots, and these guys here are really vulnerable at the moment. So the Tomb Blades are my target priority. Now if I start moving and advancing these War Walkers, I'm going to have less chance of doing much damage. However, even if I stand them still, I don't think I've got enough shots. I've got the Fire Prism, the Rangers, and a Scatter Laser over here. It's not enough shots. These are hard to hit. They've got 2 wounds each, and there's a big squad of 9 of them. So Yeah, I'm thinking I should just try and take the objective. It will give me another point up on objectives at the end of the turn. So I think that might be the plan. Okay, I've had to think about it. Now, even if I advance and get a good advance roll, I'm not going to be able to surround this objective to stop a Tomb Blade coming in, staying away 1 inch away from me, and 3 inches of the objective to claim the objective. So I can't stop that happening. So I've just moved my 10 inches. I'm within 3 inches of the objective, so at least I'll get the point. I'm probably not going to be able to stop the Necrons getting the point in their turn. However, now my guns are at full power, except obviously they're at -1 because I moved as a heavy weapon, but I'm going to use the stratagem to give me +1. But of course Tomb Blades are hard to hit anyway. So I'm basically going to shoot all of the guns that I have into these Tomb Blades. Okay, so I managed to kill 3 of them, and 1 of them's down to 1 wound. So yeah, that was really hard work, hard to hit, proving very difficult to get through. The fire prism I shot on the D6 one, and I rolled a 1 for the amount of shots, so I had to use a command point, then I got a 5. But even so, yeah, not too much damage on those Tomb Blades. However, I am standing on that objective, so that's a point, and I get 3 points for the Warlock standing on that objective, so that's another 4 points added up as we move into turn 3 for the Necrons. Okay, Necron turn 3. First of all, our RPs. We've got 1 Immortal coming back on a 4+, doesn't come back, and 3 Tomb Blades on a 5. We get 1 of those back. Okay, so the score at the moment is 10-4, so I'm 6 points behind. I'm going to get 3 points for being on that objective at the end of my turn here. So I'm 3 points behind, and of course there's a bit of a gap now with this objective. The Eldar are running out of units to get onto this objective. I mean, got these guys up here may make a last ditch attempt. The fire prism potentially, but I think I've got this middle objective covered once I sort out these War Walkers. So I'm going to move as many of these Tomb Blades as I can around this objective. That means I'll only be 2 points behind. So now I think it's time to try and concentrate over on this blob. But first of all, I do need to get rid of these War Walkers. Okay, end of Necron movement phase. So these guys just stood where they were as these moved forward 5 inches. The Cryptek moved and advanced. He's hiding behind the building. He doesn't want to risk dying from those rangers. And then these guys just moved forward. They're just about within half range of the War Walkers. And the Tomb Blades, whilst originally I was going to surround the objective, what I've done is I've just placed 2 Tomb Blades within range of the objective, so I'm outnumbering the War Walkers, so I will get the point, but I've stayed far enough away that these guys here, if they want to shoot my Tomb Blades, they're going to have to come out of the terrain in the open. So that was the plan there. The Night Scythes moved just there. In range, I think I might try to target these pesky rangers on the building. Right, time to shoot. Okay, end of the shooting phase. So that toughness 6 with my toughness 5 weapons, quite difficult to get through. I did manage to kill 2 of them, and 1 did explode and did a mortal wound on a Tomb Blade and on this War Walker here, who's still at 5 wounds. So I'm going to assault the War Walker, because then I can just lock it in combat, and if I don't kill it, my Tomb Blades are going to be safe from any shooting coming in. In the meantime, the Night Scythe shot at the Rangers, I killed 4 of them, and the last one died for morale. Okay, so I managed to get that point there, and 3 points for that objective, so that's 4 points. So it's now 10 points to 8 to the Craftworlds, as we move in to their turn 4. Okay, so turn 4 for Craftworlds, and I'm currently 2 points in the lead. I've been thinking about, is there a chance I can move and advance the War Walker and then shoot out the Immortals, try to get the War Walker to target the Overlord? That's not going to happen. You've got the other Immortals there. I just don't have enough firepower, so I can't remove the Overlord. This blob is gaining me lots of points each turn. It's going to be 4 points at the end of this turn, so I need to protect this little blob. I don't have much left elsewhere, so I think it's time now to start moving this fire prism towards the centre. I don't really plan to do much with it, except hopefully try and distract the Necrons as much as possible. If they can see I'm making a play for this central objective, it might take some of their firepower away from this rather vulnerable blob. I've got 2 turns to A, survive, and B, to hold on to my lead. So let's get moving. Okay, movement's over. There wasn't a lot I could do, so I moved the War Walker around, just making sure the Tomb Blades know that I'm there on the objective. And I moved the Fire Prism up. I did consider advancing it, but I think if I move it up and start shooting it at the Tomb Blades, it would at least draw some attention to it. Over here, I've tried not to draw any attention to it, and I haven't moved the Die Avengers out of the terrain to get their guns in range of the Tomb Blades. I'm just hunkering down. I'm going to try and hold on to this position if I can. So yeah, a bit of a sacrifice, but I think it's worth it. I very much doubt I would have taken all of these Tomb Blades out anyway. So like I said, at the moment it's about surviving and keeping the lead. Right, let's shoot. Okay, so I actually did my psychic phase first, of course, and I once again, for the 3rd turn in a row, I failed to get my protect power up. I think I should have taken conceal as opposed to protect, because that goes off on a 6 and this one goes off on a 7, and I'm finding it hard to roll a 7 at the moment. Anyway, we went on to the shooting phase, and with the War Walker and the Fire Prism shooting in, I managed to kill 3 Tomb Blades, and 1 Tomb Blade is left on 1 wound. Bearing in mind, 2 of these Tomb Blades were down to 1 wound each. 1 from the mortal wound from the War Walker exploding, 1 from the previous turn of shooting. However, just 4 were left. I thought it would be fun, and just out of interest, to pretend that I had moved these forward and see how much damage the Dire Avengers could have done on these. Hard to hit, again proving really difficult to get through. Don't have any command points left for Craftworlds, whereas Necrons still have 6 command points left. They're actually finding it difficult to use the command points. And yeah, the Dire Avengers, well actually all they did was 1 wound, so there would still be 3 Tomb Blades left there. Anyway, even if I had taken the risk, moved forward and shot. So I get 4 points for being on that objective. I don't get a point for this one. So let's move in to Necrons, turn 4. Okay, turn 4 for the Necrons. First we've got some reanimation protocol. So we've got 5 Tomb Blades coming up on a 5. And we get 3 of those back up. And then we've got 1 Immortal coming up on a 4. He comes up as well. Right, okay, I am currently 6 points behind. I'm going to get 4 points for being on that objective, and I'm going to be able to hopefully keep this objective here. So I'm looking like I'm going to get 5 points back, just 1 point behind. So I'm going to have a think about what I'm going to do. Okay, I've just realised that I did actually forget to assault the War Walker in my previous turn, which of course would have stopped the Tomb Blades being shot at. However, it's all worked out good in the end. I've just moved the Tomb Blades around that objective, and now I'm thinking about using the Veil of Darkness on these guys here. Okay, so I'm trying to work out how I can steal this game from the Eldar. I'm going to be just 1 point behind after the end of this turn, so with 1 turn left I am pretty close. Now I'm going to concentrate on killing this War Walker, of course, and then next target's going to be this Fire Prism, and the reason for that is the Fire Prism has a small chance of getting Line Breaker, which gives the Eldar another point on me. Now I have actually vowed, I did think about veiling over these Immortals, the big squad, and trying to target these guys over here. However, I'm just going to leave these alone. What I've done is I've vowed the Cryptek all by himself behind this building here to give me a line breaker. So without that turning around and killing my Cryptek, which I suppose could happen, but if he does that, then he's got no chance of getting line breaker himself. It's probably the only unit left that could potentially get line breaker, although only if the game goes on. So I think I'm in a good position to steal this game. However, we still need to shoot. Okay, end of the shooting phase. So I shot these immortals here first because they were further away and not at half range. Then I split fire with the tomb blades, some on the fire prism because it was at half range, and some on the war walker. I got the war walker down to 1 wound, so I had to split fire with these immortals, taking the war walker out. He didn't explode, and the rest of the immortals shot into the fire prism, which again wasn't at half range. However, I got the fire prism down to 5 wounds, so it's at its second bracket, and now it can only move 12 inches as opposed to 16. I've managed to get that point there, and of course 4 points for the backfield objective, so I'm 1 point behind. It's 14 points to Craftworlds, 13 points to Necrons, as we move into potentially the last term. Okay, Craftworld turn 5, I'm 1 point ahead at the moment. I'm going to get 5 points for being on this objective. I cannot get this objective, even if I take one of these units out from shooting. Well, there's another unit there to back them up, so the Necrons are definitely going to get that objective their turn, and I can't move that character off of that objective, so they're going to pull back another point, and they've got line breaker, which means they're going to steal it by 1 point if the game ends. So I need to get my fire prism into this deployment zone to get line breaker, just to make it a draw. However, I'm only moving 12 inches, and even if I get a 6 on my advance, I don't think I'm going to make it into the deployment zone. So I'm going to have to hope that the game goes on, even though if the game does go on, I'm very, very susceptible over here to being shot at. Okay, let's see what we can do. Okay, just rolled my advanced roll and I actually got a 6. However, the 18 inches only takes me to about there, and this line of white dice is the deployment edge for the Necron, so basically I can't get in there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the fire prism over here, trying to at least block line of sight to some of the Necron units. If the game goes on, maybe I'll have more chance of surviving to get line breaker the next term. Okay, so I moved the fire prism just here. I haven't moved anything over here, again just hunkering down in the terrain. I did get my protect power up this time on the Dire Avengers, and well, I shot my scatter laser, killed one of the tomb blades that was on 1 wound, and that's basically all I did. However, I've got 5 points for that objective just over there, and now it's time for Necrons turn 5. Okay, turn 5 for the Necrons, 3 RPs on the tomb blades needing a 5. We've got 1 backup. Okay, so I gave my will be done to this unit. They're just in range of the fire prism, and these are in half range of the fire prism, so they're going to all shoot into the fire prism. These guys here have moved on to the objective as the tomb blades have moved forward. The Eldar have cleverly placed the warlock. I'm going to have to kill all of the Dire Avengers and the Guardians, who are just about in front of the warlock, so I've got to kill everything there before I can get to the warlock. So it's going to be interesting. Oh, I still need to move my Knight Scythe, who's going to move up and target the fire prism. Okay, so end of the Necron turn. I shot those immortals first into the Dire Avengers, and that psychic power, protect, really working well. They saved everything. However, the tomb blades with their -1, as they were in half range, obliterated the unit. I killed 9 of them and the last one died from morale. So that gives me 5 points for the backfield objective, 1 point for the middle one. We are even on points, except I have line breaker. So let's see if the game continues. It does. Okay, I'm just going to play the game out off camera and we'll be back with a synopsis. Okay, so in turn 6, the Guardians shot at the Tomb Blades, did no damage, and then in the Necron turn 6, a Tomb Blade stood back up. We moved the Tomb Blades near the objective, we shot the Tomb Blades into the Guardians, killed them all, and then these Immortals who moved forward killed the Warlock. So the Craftworld army was totally destroyed. It would have been 28 points to the Necrons and 25 points for the Eldar. However, I rolled a dice and we went to turn 7, which gave the Necrons another 9 points. So in the end, the total score was 36 points to the Necrons, 25 points for the Eldar. So I really hope you enjoyed the game. Next up, this Necron army is going to face my Tyranids. In the meantime, here are a few of my other battle reports. Beam me up!